hearts. Rumor time reflects. When my mind is upset, I can change my mindset. Do not be thrown offset. Rumor time.
The RUMERTIME process, and I came across this quote: behind every behavior is a belief.
Whatever setting you go to, whether you're at church, whether you're at school, whether you may be having
I was able to analyze a little bit more.
Bringing about real positive
In order for me
changes.
to be effective, I have to be reflective. And this training
I gather an appreciation for reflecting. And I
take it from just something that's inside to getting it in a tangible form, getting it out from.
Fulfilling and rewarding to see the kids who coming and they sincerely growth in them. They became more reflective in their thinking, to see children grow and not just see but to be a part of it.
What I have learned in camp about Rumor Time is that it's a process for solving problems we face in our lives.
My stress, and then I begin to enjoy and spend time on the things that really make me happy. And
come in this training to all age, from kindergarten.
Before you do that thing that you'll regret, or say that thing.
If you breathe and think, you should have this training. I would recommend this to everyone.
All right. Well, hello, good people. Happy New Year to everyone. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2023, the Access Rumor Time Conversations podcast, and our 10-year anniversary. Woohoo! Yeah, 10, the big 10. God has seen us through many a trials, many a triumphs, and we're here to give him praise, honor, and glory, and we want to thank him. My name is Dr. Yvonne Murray Laria, and I am in South Bend, Indiana, and I have to tell you, I recorded it this morning. There was sunshine. There was sunshine, and so much so that I even had to go out and walk because we haven't had sunshine for maybe about 3 weeks.
Oh.
Yes, so it's as cold as it was. I was like, the sun is out, I'm out. So welcome to everyone. So the rest of the team will introduce themselves and we will get into our education segment.
Yes, absolutely. Happy New Year, everyone. And congratulations, GC scored on your 10-year anniversary. I am Dr. Geneva Fleming, and I bring you greetings from South Carolina. I'm so looking forward to our first conversation of the year with Miss Kellie, who we'll hear from soon.
Yes.
Vanessa, I pass the mic to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I am Vanessa Kellie Brew, and I am bringing you greetings from Elkhart, Indiana. And so we also have some of that sunshine this morning, and so I am excited about that. And I am also excited to celebrate 10 years with GC Scored. What a wonderful, wonderful accomplishment. And I am also excited to have Kellie here with us as our guest today. So thank you all for joining us for 2023 and also helping us to celebrate 10 years and starting it off with our interview with Kellie.
Yes, starting it off with a bang.
That's right.
Kellie, Miss Kellie, take it away for a minute here.
Well, I'm Kellie Hennings. I'm also in Elkhart, Indiana at Center for Community Justice, where I'm the Transitional Recovery Coaching Coordinator. I'm so excited to be with all of you, and congratulations, GC Scored, on your 10-year anniversary.
Thank you. And you guys are going to hear some more from Kellie shortly, but we're gonna go into our, we have a routine, and so we're going to talk about that and tell you some more about the 10-year anniversary activities. So if we can get our slides rolling, yes. So our theme for our 10-year anniversary is from seeds to fruit trees, celebrating 10 years as we renew minds, transform lives, and create safer communities. And so you see this everywhere you look. And if you would like, we would even give you permission to put this information on your email signature, on your profile, your WhatsApp, your text messages, anything that you have, any, social media. We would love for you to share this information with the world as we continue to move from strength to strength. Let's go to our next slide. And so this is Access Time Conversations podcast season 2. We continue season 2. And we, as you know, we meet on the second and fourth Mondays of every month, except November and December. And we meet at noon at Eastern Standard Time. Eastern Standard Time. And our co-hosts, as we all introduce ourselves, just a few minutes ago. All right, let's go to our next slide, please. All right, so let's start off with a prayer. This is a new component of our podcast, and I will go ahead and read the RUMERTIME prayer, and you can read it in your space as well. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and for this Access RUMERTIME Conversations podcast. I thank you for allowing us to be chosen to be here because we are special and we matter to you. I pray that you will help us to recognize, understand, manage, express, and reflect on thoughts, interactions, mindsets, and emotions that are helpful, kind, wise, uplifting, and courageous. I pray that all who watch and listen now and in the future would experience renewed minds, transformed lives, and they would be empowered to create safer communities wherever they are. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right, let's go to the next slide. Dr. Geneva? Think she's having some challenges. All right. I will go ahead and repeat the mission. Kellie, do you want to repeat our mission for us?
Sure. To renew minds, transform lives, and create safer communities.
Awesome. Thank you. Next. Vanessa.
So, what we do is we talk about social emotional wellness. And what is that? Social emotional awareness is a person's ability to recognize, understand, manage, express, and reflect on their thoughts, their interactions, their mindsets, and emotions as it relates to self, others, and situations. And how do you do that? So, as you effectively utilize these skills, you become equipped and empowered to successfully navigate daily activities such as loving, learning, earning, relationship building, problem solving, and adapting to the demands of growth and development.
Awesome. Awesome. And so this is the foundation on one of the foundational principles on what we do here at GC Scored and what we've been doing for the last 10 years. If we can move the slides, please. All right. RUMERTIME is an acronym. Vanessa, you want to take that one?
Sure. Yeah. So, what is the acronym and what does it stand for? So, the R is for recognize. What is our story? What is going on in our life? Recognize what is happening. The U is for understand. The M is for manage. So, how are we managing our emotions for the story that is happening in our lives? How are we expressing that? And then being able to reflect on our thoughts, our interactions, our mindsets, and our emotions.
Awesome. Awesome. Let's go to the next slide, please. So we got the acronym. So we know that the rumor time is an acronym. And what does it mean? What's the definition of the rumor time process? It is a 5-step, culturally responsive, social emotional problem solving strategy that helps individuals move from a position of inter and intrapersonal imbalance to inter and intrapersonal balance, and from unconscious living to conscious living. All right, so that's our education segment. Now I think we're going to move into our giving you an update on what is happening for our 10-year anniversary. I am so excited. 10 years, double digits, double digits. Do you hear me? Can you count to 10? Okay. Can you count to 10? Because that's how old we are. And so let's talk about what to expect. What to expect. So we have our, and everything is going to be launched midnight tonight. So, like how you waited up for the ball to drop, wait up for GC Scored's webpage and all its activities to drop at midnight tonight. All right. So we plan to celebrate all year long, and we're inviting you to celebrate with us. Um, and again, we want to give God praise. We want to give him thanks as we celebrate. And you're going to walk down memory lane with us. We want you to walk down memory lane with us. You will learn about our accomplishments, the events and programs, products, services, and other milestones that we achieved from 2013 to 2023. You will also meet several of our valued contributors and champions who have been on this journey with GC Score during the 10 years. You will also watch how our mission to renew minds, transform lives, and create safer communities, how it grew from a seed into a dream. And little by little, this dream, which became GC Scored, grew into a tree in South Bend, Indiana, then across the US, and then multiple trees across over 32 countries across the globe. GC Scored's team welcomes you. We welcome you, and we look forward to you joining us in our year-long celebration as we reflect on the gardens that God has trusted to us from 2013 to 2023. Regardless of the stage of relationship cultivation that you feel competent at, or the tools that you use for cultivating your relationships at home, at work, school, or in the community, we look forward to you joining us in this grand 10th anniversary celebration. We look forward to many more years with you as relationship cultivators, supporters, partners, learners, advocates, and champions in 2023 and beyond. So those are some of the things. And this website you see here, you're going to be given access to it again, midnight tonight. And we're going to have courses on there. You'll be able to shop at our Shopify store. You'll be able to learn at our Institute for Social Emotional Education. Every month, we are going to be uploading or giving you access to our $10 per hour course. And our courses are going to only be 2 hours or less. And so it's $10 an hour. So that means the most you're going to spend on a course this year is $20. And so you will get the link to that. And we have an exciting lineup of courses for you. And then you have to go to our shop. You have to shop till you drop. And so we have all types of items in our store. We have shirts, we have hoodies, we have mugs, we have coasters, we have, the list goes on. We also have our planner, our 2023 limited edition planner. It is amazing. You're going to be able to put your passwords in, take notes, make sure you stay on target for your appointments. You get to prioritize your things to do list. I mean, it's just filled with all types of opportunities in that planner. And then, of course, we would need you to donate. And there's always that donate button. You're going to see videos and testimonials and all kinds of things. We have blogs. Every month we have a new blog for you. We have you'll see artifacts on things that we have accomplished. Lots and lots of exciting and interesting information for you to gain and things for you to enjoy as well. All right. So we're looking forward to you joining us on this journey for this year. Get your seatbelts on. It's going to be a party time. We're going to party like it's 1999. All right. Okay, so let's get started with the course. The first course is entitled Listen Up, the Power of Empathic Listening. The power of empathic listening. I was saying, and I shared this in the instructor message, but I was watching the documentary with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and the interviewer asked her, what does she think is the most important issue or most important thing that our society needs right now? And she said, this is right before it was her last interview before she actually passed. She said, listening. Listening is one of the most important issues facing our societies right now. And then I also watched another interview with April Simpkins. She's the mother of Chelsea Christ. She was the young lady who committed suicide. And she said, one of the most important things that we have to do now, especially now, is to listen differently. Listen differently. And so GC Scored and the Institute for Social Emotional Education is giving you the tools to help you listen differently, to help you listen empathically. Again, midnight tonight, the course is going to be up. You can pre-register even now. All right. So let's get into our programming for today. We want to thank all of you for showing up and tuning into our show. We already see Marquita is here. Marquita was one of our wellness champions who is trained, and Mrs. Crystal Villela. Good afternoon. All right, let's get started. Who has the first question for Miss Kellie? Oh, Miss Kellie, do you want to just tell us how you first got involved with GC Scored and the RUMERTIME process?
Well, GC Scored and the RUMERTIME process was something that the executive director of Center for Community Justice, which is where I work, that he brought to me. I was looking for a training for our coaches. It wasn't enough for us to find volunteer coaches to work with our clientele. They needed specialized training, and I felt like we were doing the community of Elkhart a disservice, and we were doing our coaches and our clients a disservice because we didn't have the adequate tools to work with our clientele. Our clientele are people who are currently incarcerated, whether it's in the local county jail or in prisons throughout the state of Indiana, and those who are in rehab for drug addiction. And as they are transitioning out of those places back into our community, we work with them to get them the necessary resources that they need to be successful. And so that's how we were brought GC Scored, as this is an opportunity. They had thought about using it for some other programming within our organization. And it just didn't seem that the timing was right, but it was perfect once I took the position, because I had spent probably the first 4 months of taking this role, finding funding for different things for our clients. And training was the next step, because it's one thing to have a desire to volunteer to aid somebody at one of the most pivotal points in their life, but it's another thing to have the necessary tools to help them be successful.
Awesome. Yes, that's a very poignant statement, because many of us want to help. There are lots of people who want to help, reach out. Like this weekend, I got a text from someone in one of the Caribbean islands saying that there's this 18-year-old who was gang raped, and she is not doing, this was Saturday night. She was gang raped, and she's obviously not doing well, and she needs some help immediately. We were able to get that person the help they need through our Listening Oasis Wellness Space, where we have trained wellness champions who can help this person for free in a confidential setting at any time. And so it is important, if you want to help, if you know that you want to volunteer, or you just want to help make this world a better place, GC Score, the Listening Oasis Wellness Space, get in touch with us. Get in touch with us, and we can train you, give you the same training that Kellie and her 16 coaches were able to receive from us. So go ahead, Kellie.
I just want to chime in, and
Okay.
thanks for sharing that. You know, there's so many people who want to be helpful, and that's a good thing, but it's the how, right? It's almost like we've heard people say, it's not what you say, is how you say it. So it's not what kind of help, but how you help is so important and so foundational. And so with that, Kellie, you learned more, you learned about the organization and about some strategies that the organization had for the public. I wonder if you can share some about, let me back up. You learned this, and then you introduced it to your team of coaches, because you recognize the importance of how you help people. So can you share some information, just some nuggets about how you introduced what GC Scored had to offer to the team, and the value of them becoming equipped to do the kind of work with the population, that special population that you all work with?
Well, initially, my stepping into this role, because I was new in the role, the person had it before me, had done this for 10 years, and everyone said he walked on water. And I said, Jesus came back and worked at CCJ. Wow. Those are big shoes to fill, right? And so in looking at the coaches that I had 2 female coaches that were over the age of 65 and retired. And though they are phenomenal individuals, dealing with looking at the clientele that I have, we needed more help. We definitely needed more male coaches, and I had to find a different mix of people to help the different demographics that we have coming in. So we had to go beyond color lines. We had to go beyond age boundaries. We had to find people who were not just willing helpers, but people who would be open to sharing their life experience and how they've overcome their own personal conflicts in order to help these individuals succeed. And so, and finding the right pool of coaches, we wound up with 16. From 2 to 16 in a matter of months was a miracle. Yeah. And then finding the right coaching program that could draw us all in and help us deal with our own socio-emotional issues before we start practicing on the general public was a big thing. And so I felt like GC Scored had all of the necessary components, and it made sense, and it was simple enough for anybody to really understand it, because even some of the pages within the workbook, I have ripped them out of the book and literally gave them to my foster children. And it's like, do this. And we're going to talk about this afterwards so that you can process and I'm not dealing with anger and rage and you breaking things in my house. But now we have a dialogue to follow and to go by. So just finding the right tools that would be easy enough for anybody of any age range to understand and then be able to learn it well enough to translate it to whatever population they're dealing with.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
Vanessa, go ahead, Dr. Laria.
So you said, so Kellie, you had said in the pre-show that you started off saying that the person that you are today is not the person you were then, before, prior to. Let our viewers and we're glad to see people are tuning in. Let our viewers know at least just one at this point, one of the major ways that you are different now.
Well, when I started the program, I was new to CCJ in this role of working with incarcerated individuals. And so that had its own set of challenges. But since then, I've become a foster parent. And even in going through the training, like how I pastor and minister to the flock that I'm assigned to is different. I realized there were some things within myself that I needed to deal with, and being able to go through the rumor time process and continue to do it with everything that would surface. You know, each time you go through it, and you try to do it daily, but each time you go through it, there's something else that comes up for you to recognize. There's something new about you that you need to understand. There's some new emotion that you've got to try to manage, because when you really accept the truth about yourself, you can be set free. But how to express that in a safe place, and not worried about judgment, because you've got to a place where you can reflect on yourself and love this version of you. And I think I've loved myself into the best moment of my life. And so I think this is the best version of me that I could share with my foster children, with my family, with my church congregation, and even with my clientele at work.
Awesome. That is a beautiful, beautiful testimony. And you know, as we celebrate 10 years, if we have never heard that our labor is not in vain, this today is what's the word? It's confirmation. Yeah, it's confirmation that what we're doing is first and foremost a ministry, is God inspired, and people's lives are being transformed and minds renewed, and safer communities are being created. So thank you for that, Kellie. Thank you so much for that. I see Geneva and Vanessa dying to say something. Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Vanessa.
so I do have a question for you, Kellie. You very eloquently stated how you are very different now than you were before you learned the rumor time process. And what I'm wondering is, what is the difference that you see in the way that you work with the clients now than you did before learning this process?
You know, I think the biggest personal turning point for me, I'm a 2-time breast cancer survivor. And so just a few days ago, I'm 7 years cancer free. And so to go from stage 4 cancer, 3 months to live, to being here and being full of life, and understanding that sometimes unexpected situations happen. Sometimes you find yourself in positions that you never expected to be in. And yes, I work with people who are incarcerated. Yes, I work with people post-incarceration. But sometimes you make choices and decisions in life that you never thought you would ever have to make. You know, for me, it was to have a double mastectomy. That was a choice I never thought I would have to make. For someone else, though it doesn't seem logical or rational to me, to rob a bank, to be able to have your house not go into foreclosure and provide for your kids, it's not a logical thing for me. But my situation would not be logical to somebody else who was facing it with no... It's something that happened in a moment. I made a bad decision, and how do I regroup and recover from this now that I'm wearing this label? You know, to say I'm a breast cancer survivor, some people say, oh my God, poor her. No, thank God I'm the face to show everybody else that you can survive this. And so just because you went through a moment of a hardship or a hard time or a bad decision, you can rebound from that. And there are steps and there are tools and there are people to aid you and assist you in your process. No, I'm not a medical doctor. No, I'm not a psychologist. However, I am a person that has empathy and compassion, and I have an ear to hear. I know how to listen to you and listen beyond the issue that I see to get to the root of the matter and show you how you can work through those steps to be successful in the life that you desire to live. Because it's your version of life and my version of life will have two different definitions. But I can give you some simple tools on how you can walk through this every day to improve your quality of life.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's awesome.
Yes.
And you again, using Vanessa's term, you speak so eloquently about the transformation, that whole transformative process. So my question to you right now is, and I just want to soak in what you were saying. It's so meaningful. But what have you observed with your team, the coaches that you're working with? I recall the time of the training, and I was really impressed by the commitment of these individuals to meet on an evening, and they were there, and they appeared to be soaking it up. But share with us what you have observed from your coaches or through your coaches in terms of growth or maturity, or even the impact of the training that they received last year.
I think men often get caught up with busy work. They get caught up with doing things with their hands and, hanging out with the guys, and they have all this camaraderie, but they have some insecurities and some inadequacies that we don't normally see on the surface because we get caught up on the outer appearance. And I have 3 male coaches that have done the work, and they're doing a phenomenal job. And I've experienced more growth out of the male coaches than the female coaches. And in other situations and in other trainings I've been in, it was completely opposite. But their willingness to work with men who are in a tough spot and say, you know what, that could have been me. Or as a matter of fact, in some situations, this was me. And it was just a grace of God that I didn't get caught. And on that, I've recognized that there's still some things from my teenage years. There's still some things from my adolescence that I experienced that I understand that I need help from, and I'm struggling to manage those emotions. And as the coordinator, for them to trust me enough to come in and say, hey, can we sit down? Can we talk? Can I get on your calendar? Can we sit down? Can we talk about this? Can we work through the steps? And I want to be a better me so that I can be a better husband. I can be a better provider. I can be a better coach. And it's amazing to me how they're always willing to do it for somebody else. I'm willing to do it for my family to be better, or for, my coaching to improve and to be a better help to these other individuals. But deep down, they finally see that their work, doing the work for themselves, is the final outcome. And that was incredible to me. Just to see them be able to open up and so freely share. One of our coaches lost his spouse, and he was very closed off during the training. And there were so many days that I got a call immediately as soon as we hung up. And he was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, this is hard work. I don't feel like I have what it takes. And even in one of his adult children moving back home with her family, and he's saying, I made all these parenting errors all these years, and in working with this client, this brought this up for me, that I could have handled this moment better with my son. I could have handled this better with my daughter. And being man enough to go back and apologize and try to get it right, and to acknowledge his shortcomings. And we had to get to a place where I said, you've apologized once, you don't have to apologize anymore. At some point, you speak people's language. It's under the blood. You've apologized to them. You repent to the Lord. It's done. You know, they can't accept that apology. They've got to grow to a place where they can open their heart and genuinely forgive. But you did the hard part by acknowledging that you messed up. You were not a perfect parent. You didn't have all the right tools in your own upbringing. There were some errors, but to see it, to acknowledge it, and to try to change it now is huge. And that particular coach is a complete rock star. Like, he's beyond a wellness champion for me. He's rocking out because he did for himself, and to see this person to open up and engage, and where he was sad and you could tell he was battling depression through the process.
Yes.
A smile on his face, and to be warm and inviting, and like when you see me and he's giving me a hug and I'm like, oh, no personal space, like there's no boundaries anymore. We're in this thing together for real. It has been a complete joy just to see that it's not just about what we're giving to the people that we're coaching, but to see the coaches grow and evolve and to become their people has been such a beautiful thing to witness.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
awesome.
That is so
I
impactful.
cool.
And can I say what we just heard you describe, Kelly, is the very first step in the RUMERTIME process. You know, for our listening audience, you know, you've heard the description of the acronym RUMERTIME, and it sounds like that particular coach recognized, not sound like, that is what happened. And I want to point out the fact that coming to that place of acknowledging, identifying, recognizing, you know, being able to call it out is not always easy, right?
It's never easy.
It is not easy. And so for him to even recognize that, and the good thing that I appreciate hearing you share was how, you know, he was person enough, man enough to come to you. He acknowledged that he wasn't sure whether he could handle it or not. He's like, I don't know if I could do this, you know, but through, you know, consultation with you, he stuck with it, completed it, and now he's all the better for it. A rock star, the way you just described it. So cool beans. I love it.
Yeah. And I remember this particular coach, and the novelty, I guess, for him, hearing about how our thoughts, our interactions and mindsets and emotions, how they impact relationships, and how if we don't deal with them, what happens, and giving him the steps. And like Kelly said, he was very pensive and very, you know, quiet. Coming down to the end of the training, though, he started opening up. I think in one of the sessions he actually broke down, because he said that was the first time he ever spoke about losing his wife and the pain of losing his wife. It was a powerful session, one of the powerful sessions, where he shared that, and it was by going through, and even though he was quiet in most of the other sessions, he was taking it in. He was taking it in. He was basically rumorizing and dealing with, wrestling with his own discomfort and pain, and is so happy. I'm so happy to hear that he is now a rock star. He's a rock star.
He did the work. He did the work.
And that is it. You cannot, if anybody tells you otherwise, they're lying. You cannot get to where this gentleman is, or you can't make any type of movement in your inter and interpersonal journey of self-healing or social emotional wellness without pulling up your sleeves and doing the work. Cannot. So we have some comments in the chat. Let's just acknowledge those. We see Loislin says, hi everyone, RUMERTIME is life changing. It definitely is. Vida Harley says hi. Tonya Gates, hello. Yes, and these are people that Kelly must have invited. Hello everyone. GC Squad, thank you for tuning in. Mrs. Crystal Villela saying good afternoon, and Marquita is saying good afternoon. Please put your comments or questions in the chat. Those of you who are on Facebook and on YouTube, we really encourage, interaction. We really encourage interaction.
Kelly, one of the questions that I do have, and this is along the lines of what you just shared about one of your coaches and being male. What I want to know is, what do you see is the importance of having male coaches, particularly for this population that you are working with?
So the importance of having male coaches is currently on my caseload, I have 83 clients. 70 out of 83 are male.
Wow.
And so, yeah. And, you know, most of them are referred from the court to me, and it's supposed to be a voluntary program, but they're court ordered to come see me and at least do the initial paperwork with me and figure out if we can help or how to help them. But in having males that have mastered some of their own socio-emotional challenges and come to the knowledge of the truth about themselves and have able to mature beyond things that have hindered them or have been barriers or boundaries for themselves, and be able to express that there are things that men go through that men don't talk about, that they harbor, that they suppress. You know, having a coach come into the office, really Johnny on the spot, and he's very busy, for a person that was coming in, had just filled out some paperwork and it's like, hey, you know, I just got out, I can't get a job, I've got child support, they're threatening to send me back to jail for child support, and to be honest, I know you're supposed to be helping me with housing and food and clothes and whatever, but I'm depressed and I don't know how I'm going to make it. I don't know how to cope. You know, I have a child that is in foster care, and I haven't even got to see her since I've gotten out, because there are things that they need me to do and I don't have the money to do it. Like I'm at my wit's end. And so just looking at the current state of our community and saying, hey, we need male help, and we need men who are willing to be open and transparent and who have done the work to get themselves built up. And now impart and train and help the next person. You know, I've been watching these little miracle moments happen. And it's not a big thing for some other people to see a man reach out and literally extend a rope to another man that's drowning. If somebody had jumped in the river, it would be all over the news. But for somebody to say, hey, I'm at my wit's end, I have no money, I have no home, I can't provide for my kids, I have a child that's in the system, and I don't know anything about what they're going through, I need help, and I need help right now because mentally I can't take anymore. And there are certain things that a man just doesn't feel comfortable sharing with a woman. And,
Sure.
you know, every place I've gone, hey, want to be a male volunteer, want to be a volunteer, want to be a volunteer, because it's real. You know, how men and women process their thoughts are different, how men interact with one another. You know, put down that macho bravado and say, hey, I'm struggling. And I'm struggling, and the alcohol isn't working, the marijuana's not working, all of the things that my social group is offering me, those things are not working. They're actually hindrances to my progress, and they're going to send me back to incarceration. So finding somebody that has the right mindset and has the emotional stability to give something better and something more has made the difference.
Awesome.
Do you train them? So I'm wondering, for someone who would love to do this work, to make these changes in the lives of the population that you work with and the community. I'm wondering, is this a continued training that you offer for those who are coming in, or in terms of CCJ and the training that you said that you saw that they desperately needed, is this something that you continue to do?
We will be, we're recruiting our next group of coaches, because like I said, the caseload is larger than it's ever been in the 12 years of this program being here. And so we are looking for the next round of training as we establish new coaches. And there's some coaches that have asked for refreshers just on certain parts where they feel like they might be rusty, or they did not tap into the fullness of the training in the process because they didn't realize they themselves had a need in certain areas. And so, you know, the more you do it, the more thought process you put in and the more interactions you have, the more you realize that there are some things within your own mindset that need to be adjusted. And there's some emotional triggers there are some buttons that hadn't been pushed yet for you to know that you needed help in those places. And so we are looking to do this as continuing training. And my boss is out right now looking for new funding. so that we can provide this training to our coaches, because it was free of charge for them, as long as they were willing to commit to the 12-week process.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome, awesome. It's critical. And as we know, GC Scored is always here. The Institute for Social Emotional Education is here. We're open for business, and we would love to get you to, not just you, but anybody else who's on this call, listening or watching. You need to train, and I'm not even saying if, I'm saying you need to train the people that you work in your environment. It doesn't matter what environment, because you would know Kellie is a pastor, she is a foster parent, she is a coach coordinator. Kellie, you do some other things. What you have a whole bunch of other things that you do, Kellie. Let us know, because I want people to see the scalability or the diversity in the RUMERTIME process. And
Yeah.
every time is RUMERTIME, and it is required. It should
Yeah.
be required. You just required skill building for life. So go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay. I'll ask if there's some questions in the chat.
Okay, go
for
ahead,
Kellie,
Kellie.
as you're thinking about what Dr. Larry just said. So Loyson is asking the question, how do you cope and handle that large number of males?
You know, for me, it's leveling the playing field. You know, when they come in, they initially get the application, fill it out. I schedule them for a time to do their intake, and it takes about an hour and a half for us to walk through this packet step by step, question by question. And the RUMERTIME process actually made me make some adjustments to the questions that we had been asking for 10 years.
There you go.
Because it's not enough for us to know you by your DOC number and this crime that they say you committed without getting to know you as a person and figure out how you got into this position. And recognizing, you know, and understanding who you are will enable us to better help you. And so looking at them as a person, not as male or as a female, but handling them as a person who's gone through some things, because incarceration can be just as traumatic as rape or cancer. You know, those are my background issues, and saying, hey, you know, I'm not perfect. But my goal every day, and this is my mission statement to the clients, is I live my life with love and grace and gratitude, because I'm not supposed to be here. And I was not always a pastor. As a matter of fact, I probably could have been incarcerated with some of my decisions. And letting them know, like, I am the child of a parent that was incarcerated my entire childhood. My father went to prison when I was 2 months old. He got out when I was 6 and went back before I turned 7, and got out the week after I graduated from high school. And so I know what it's like to be the child receiving a parent back from incarceration and having to go into the prison for visitation. I know the hard parts of your journey, but I have no idea what it's like to have been, you know, locked away for all those years, and the world continued to change and evolve. But if you'll allow me to get to know you, I want to know you beyond what this court pamphlet says about you. And so when you level the playing field and let them know who you are, and you become a real person, and even expose some of your weaknesses and vulnerabilities to them, so they don't feel like they're just this horrible person. We've all made bad choices. Some of us just didn't get caught. You know, I have a lot of clients, you know, that got DUIs, and there were nights many years ago in my life. I've been sober for 20 years that I drank and drive. I just didn't get caught. And so recognizing, you know, this could have been me, and you're not the only one. And we all have struggles, and we all have issues, and just letting them see beyond this title that I have and beyond the office that I sit in, that I'm a human person, and I've made bad choices, and I'm willing to meet you where you are, but you have to meet me too.
Absolutely.
And I expect you to be open and honest, because I'm always going to be honest and forthcoming. And if I'm going to go to bat for you, I need you to go to bat for yourself.
And so the RUMERTIME process, in essence, helps to increase individuals' empathy capacity. it helps them go deep into that well of empathy, because you first and foremost have to look at you. It also allows you to not to be non-judgmental, because when you become aware of who you are, or when you honestly and accurately assess you, you start eating some humble pie, knowing that, hey, it could have been me, but for the grace of God, right? And so that increases your empathy capacity, so that you are able to listen empathically and able to use the tools of the RUMERTIME process to help get that person to a place where they can also receive your empathy, but also then at some point give it.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
good. Thanks for sharing that, Dr. Larry, because that was right on the tip of my tongue to talk
Okay.
about the importance of honestly and accurately. That's one of the things that the RUMERTIME process requires, is that honesty. And so the other piece to that was that I heard, you said such a mouthful, Kelly, but I heard you say that the RUMERTIME process caused you to rethink or revamp some of the questions that's in your assessment. And so I just want to echo the fact that we are the center of systemic change, the global center for systemic change. And systemic change starts at that point where you recognize, hey, we've been doing this for the past 10 years and really not getting the results that we need to get. We're really not opening the door to true relationship. So the RUMERTIME process help you to rethink how the types of questions that you're asking these individuals when they come through the door. And that's what I heard. I'm like, change.
That's good.
There's change within your own organization. So thanks so much for sharing that.
Yeah, I'm glad you highlighted that, Geneva. I'm glad you highlighted that. There's some other comments in the chat.
Do you get financial support from the court to assist these men when they get out of incarceration, I imagine?
We do not. We do not. All of the funds that come to my program come from private donors or corporations who invest in us as a non-for-profit organization.
Yeah, so you do a lot of case management. And so that other question, Tanya is asking, do you have housing assistance when they get out on their own or on house arrest? Maybe just share a little bit about some of the types of assistance that you're able to assist people with when they come through your doors.
So one of the things that we have done is that we had the University of Notre Dame donated some grant funding to us. And so we give everyone a backpack with essentials in it, whether it be from undergarments to non-perishable food items, toothpaste, toothbrush, toiletries, blankets. We start them off with a starter kit because not all of our clients have somewhere to go. And if they don't have somewhere to go, they can't go on house arrest. But we do, Crystal Viella is actually from Serenity House, which is an agency that we've partnered with, and they house males who are out of incarceration or rehab who need somewhere to go. And their program typically runs about 18 months, if I'm correct. And so typically, if I know somebody is getting out and they don't have housing, I would call them. We work with Faith Mission, which is a homeless shelter. We work with Project Scope in Elkhart, which also houses males out of incarceration. And there are some other local places. Jail Ministry, which is where my predecessor went to, where we would look to see if they have available housing for men who are coming out of incarceration who need somewhere to go.
Yeah. Belinda said, I agree because I need to help someone with my story. Belinda, maybe you can say a little bit more about that in the chat. Then Cassie says, CCJ says hello. And what I want to talk a little bit here about, you said there are several people who you partner with, yes, right, to provide housing for those justice involved individuals. coming out back into society, one of the things tell me what you think. I mean, I know what I believe, but tell me what you think. What do you think you can recommend to these other agencies regarding not just the physical assistance, but the social emotional assistance that these men need to help them? Because we have a saying here at GC Squad: behind every behavior is a belief. And we believe that even though you may give even though you may give individuals housing and a backpack and all of those things, if their mindsets are not uh, renewed, if they don't understand why they do what they're doing, they're going to keep doing the same thing over and over. That's just human nature. And so imagine people who have deep rooted traumas, right? Which is what got some people into incarceration in the first place. It is important, I believe, and you can tell me what you think about this. It's important, I believe, to equip individuals, educate, equip, and empower these men or women with the social emotional first aid skills so that they can live balanced and empowered lives. What are your thoughts about that, Kellie?
I think it's something that everyone working with my life, I deal with a wide range of people, but if you're going to work with individuals, especially coming out of incarceration, or even foster children who are going through these transitional moments that can be so pivotal, you have to make sure that you're ready and you're equipped. And it's not always going to come out of the textbook that you think your degree covered. I have a degree, but my degree was not able to help me with what I was encountering in taking this role in this position. Even as a pastor, there were some places where it was really challenging my personal theology for myself. And I realized that there was more work that I needed to do for me as an individual to be effective in the work that I have to do. One of the nuggets that I took early on, and it's actually on my bathroom mirror, is to be effective, you must be reflective. And so often we start off with good intentions and helping people. I just want to help people. But what happens when you're helping people and it brings up things within yourself that you you did not understand that you had an issue. It was underlying, it was masked until the right moment where it surfaced, and you're not doing a good job of managing it. And so, before you completely unravel, put yourself in a position to get the help that you need so that you can be an effective helper for others after you've been helped. The Bible says once you've been strengthened, go strengthen your brother. And acknowledge that you still need God to perfect.
Yeah. Awesome.
Kellie, I just want to say this because I know we are at the point where we have to start wrapping up, but you mentioned this early about this being a lifetime work. So even the coaches who had gone through this program realized that they need to come back and get more training, right? Because this is a lifelong work, because even the helper needs help, right? And so exactly what you just said, to continue to strengthen others, we need to be at our strongest as well. And so I'm glad that you were able to bring that point out, is that just because I've gone through this training once does not mean I know everything and now I have everything I need to deal with every situation that comes up. But this is lifelong work. And sometimes that means I need to go back and work on those things that come up for me, like you just shared. So thank you for that. Yeah.
And for those of you who may want to at least begin the process this year, 2023, we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary, and we're offering $10 an hour courses. And so keep an eye out. Send us your email or some type of contact information. Go to our website, www.everypeacematters.com, and you can register for our courses or reach out to us, send us your contact information. This is, as Kelly and Vanessa, the team has said today, this work is about cultivating relationship skills that we all need every day, all day, everywhere.
Everywhere, every
Yes,
time.
every time. Because every time is rumor
It's
time.
rumor time.
Yes. So who let's do a round the table 30-second parting words.
So I'll just jump in, and I'm going to what you just said, Dr. Geneva. Every time is rumor time. So every situation you need rumor time to help you with. So
Yes, yes, yes. And just one word, just rumor time. Rumor time, rumor time, rumor time.
No, I didn't say one word.
Well, we win with rumor time. We win with rumor time.
There we go.
Starting right now.
Yes.
2023, know that we win with rumor time.
Yes, I love it. Kelly, what do you want to say?
I'll say if you truly desire professional growth, you have to have personal growth, and you have to be able to recognize there are still barriers that you have to overcome. There are traumas and stigmas that need to be uprooted and handled, and not just managed. A little dab won't do. And you owe it to yourself, to your family, and your community to be the best version of yourself. So get the help. Rumor time, every time, is your answer.
Awesome. All right. Well, I will say every time with rumor time is an awesome time.
All right. Yes.
All right. Thank you all for coming. We're going to see you again on the 4th Monday. And Kelly is showing us one of her purchases from the store.
Yes, the candle.
Yes, the candle. What does it say, Kelly?
Beware of unauthorized story snatchers.
I love it.
That's right. Beware of unauthorized story snatchers. Don't let anybody snatch your story. It is your story. You can tell it boldly without apology, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. All right. See you on the 4th Monday. What's the date for that?
I'm not sure, but while we're looking for that, Kelly, I want to thank you so very much on behalf of the team here for coming today on our first podcast for the year. Thank you for sharing just from the depth of your heart, your experiences, and the impact that the Rumor Time process has had on your life, as well as in the lives of your team. So God bless you, and may his favor continue to be upon you.
Yes. Amen and amen. Thank you. Bye, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you
the 23rd.
On the 23rd of January at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, our guests, Tanya, Loislin, Belinda,
Cassie. Yes.
Peter,
everyone who
Mrs. Crystal, Villela, Marquita. Yeah.
Crystal, Marquita. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes. And those of you who joined us on YouTube or any other platform, we appreciate you. Share this podcast with your network so that people could know that there are resources available for them to be able to live their best lives. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
I choose to only think of thoughts. I choose to only think right thoughts. I choose to only think right thoughts. Rumor time reflects when my mind is upset. I can change my mindset. Do not
the RUMERTIME process, and I came across this quote: behind every behavior is a belief.
Whatever setting you go to, whether you're at church, whether you're at school, whether you may be having
I was
an issue
able
at home.
to analyze a little bit more.
Bringing about real positive
In order
changes.
for me to be effective, I have to be reflective. And this training
I gather an appreciation for reflecting. And I
Take it from just something that's inside to getting it in a tangible form, getting it out from.
Fulfilling and rewarding to see the kids who coming and they sincerely grew in them. They became more reflective in their thinking, to see children grow and not just see, but to be a part of it.
What I have learned in camp about Rumor Time is that it's a process for solving problems we face in our
reduces a lot
lives.
of my stress, and then I begin to enjoy and spend time on the things that really make me happy. And
recommend this training to all age, from kindergarten.
Before you do that thing that you'll regret, or say that thing.
If you breathe and think, you should have this training. I would recommend this to everyone.